could do that.
And I'm going to adjust my chair here.
Okay. Ow.
Okay. So I'll drive for this round.
Okay.
It says excellent.
Excellent, dude.
Excellent.
Rocking on, man.
Totally.
Oy.
So, yeah, just give it a few minutes.
Hour 3 of the fun begins now.
Yes, the third hour.
That's right. 3 hours and 15 minutes to be exact. I mean, if we do the full hour.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we do here at the Mummy and the Monkey Central. We aims to please, as they say.
Yeah, I think so.
Plus, we got nothing else better to do, so I think that's the real reason.
Wiki Bobby is the first one here. Wow.
Call sleeping something to do, but that's always fun, too.
No rest for the wicked.
No way, and I'm pretty wicked.
Neil's here. He says, I'm here. Hello there, Neil.
Excellent.
The night owls are starting to creep in.
Woo-hoo.
So, very cool. We're just going to give everybody a few minutes before we
Yes.
get into our movie discussions.
Get into our... Yeah, did I turn that... I did turn the addresses off and everything. The email address.
Oh, it's all. Yeah.
Is it on?
No, it isn't.
Okay, good.
I would have said something if it were.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah, you're good. It's just us yakking.
Okie dokie.
Ron Vickers is here. Paul too is here.
Oh.
Connie Clary's here.
Connie.
Yay!
Sorry. Oh.
Thank you for the funniest movie I love, says Wiki Bobby.
Bobby loves that movie.
He loves that movie. Wow.
It is good. It's not a bad movie. Trust me, there's way worse.
Jennifer Delaney, someone say creep. Jennifer's here. Mofe Chen's here. Tay Smith is here. Hello there, Tay.
Ty.
All right, cool. Jack Gray's here.
All right, cool. They're all rolling in.
All right, guys. Well, let's. I guess we could start
Let's
up
get
here.
down to what? Down to it, everyone. Let's do this. Hey! Welcome one and all. Even if there was one, welcome one and all to the Mummy and the Monkey's
Harry Scary Hangover.
Oh, that's right. The after show, as it were.
Our after show chat show, a little continuation of the Mummy and the Monkey's Harry Scary Hangout. We host Cheesy B Movies on most Friday nights here on our YouTube channel. And this is like our after show little chat. We could talk about some movies that we've seen. Do a little follow-up to the Harry Scary Hangout.
Yes.
And all that. We played for the Harry Scary Hangout episode 213.
Yes.
Vampire Over London. The alternate title for it is Old Mother Riley Meets the Vampire.
Ooh, Vampire Over London.
And it was a comedy horror type of film. It was more of a family-friendly, kind of an all-ages type of movie. Real goofy and cheesy with robots and stuff
Vampires and old women, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to see it to believe it, basically.
Yeah, it's really goofy. And Vampire Over Yucca Flat, says Bone Jingler.
Oh, lordy.
What a combo there.
It might be more watchable that way. I don't know. Mother Riley fighting Tor Johnson.
Mother Riley meets Tor Johnson.
I'd watch that.
And
Tears them apart with their bare hands.
They're running around the desert fighting.
She winds up tearing them apart with her bare hands. I could watch that. And then he pets a rabbit at the end.
You know who else Old Mother Riley reminds me of a little bit?
No.
Medea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Medea is that type of cheesy humor, like a goofy kind of like slapstick humor.
Yeah, it's kind of a draggy type of, but that's a character he does,
It is a character, yes. And Medea's a character also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Medea's like a character.
So they have like some stuff in common.
Right.
Yeah. The Medea Halloween movie's cute.
See, but that's a good question. Like, when a man impersonates a woman, wouldn't that be a valid case of saying, why couldn't you get a woman to play that part? It's not like it's not like he's RuPaul where he's playing. It's a
really old school art form that dates back to like ancient times.
Is Medea drag? Like, RuPaul is a drag queen, right? I get all that.
I think there's different variations.
But do you think that, what's his name, Tyler Perry? Is that a character?
Technically, it's drag and a character, right?
Well, no, because drag.
Because he's impersonating a female. But it's doing it in a comedic way. It's goofy and silly.
I don't know. That's a good question. I never really thought about it because I didn't associate Tyler Perry as being a drag artist. I thought he was just an actor who had characters, kind of like Eddie Murphy played all his family members in Nutty Professor.
Well, I'm not sure.
I don't think.
I mean, I guess it depends on the person's opinion who's watching those movies.
Well, I don't
watching
know.
the characters.
Well, not an opinion, but it has to either be one or the other because Eddie Murphy.
Well, I'm not an expert on the topic, but.
Well, we don't have to.
I just know that
we're talking about
the characters are likable.
Experts aren't allowed to just talk on things. How do people become experts?
Okay, Graham. But we were going to get into the other topic of the other movies we've seen.
Well, I know, but I think this is interesting.
Doing a quick little follow up to the movie we hosted.
But you don't even see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to establish whether or not. Yeah, because there's a reason why. Well, anyway.
Well, let's read some of the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mother Riley is the British Medea, says Mofe Chen. I think I said that on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
I must have missed that comment.
Right, because it's not necessarily drag. It's a character created by an actor or a comedian.
And drag, they dress as characters. They have characters.
Is that what that's called? So what's it called when?
Juliet says drag comes from Shakespearean actors as a term just meant as boys dressed as women.
Right. So that would be technically drag. Medea.
Yes.
And when Eddie Murphy dresses like his mother,
technically that's drag.
That's drag. Okay.
Yes.
But what's it called when he dresses like another guy?
Just dressing as another guy. Just
but
dressing
it's a
in character. It's.
But it's not Eddie
Well, he's
Murphy.
a character actor.
Yeah, but he's not playing.
Okay, Grim. I don't want to get too into this topic.
So why is it different when a character is like the gender changes? I'm just curious.
It's just an art form. Okay.
I just wonder why. Well, so is portraying a monster.
Well. Okay.
Right.
I
don't know.
Well, and then it's called a character actor when you're dressing up as other characters also.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So it's both.
Got it.
Right.
I'm just trying to be politically correct. I just want to know what to call.
Usually there's character actors. They're comedians and they dress as different characters.
But then there's little subcategories.
And then there's the drag stuff too. It's all
the subcategories. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, let's see. We're going to get into... I totally lost my train of thought here. So, we've been away for a few weeks, and we wanted to get back into the Harry Scary Hangover and talk about some movies that we've seen over the past couple weeks. So, Grim, we did watch, while we were away, Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
And... I have mixed feelings about Evil Dead Rise. It has a lot of mixed reviews. Like, some people absolutely love it. Some people absolutely hate it. I'm kind of in the middle with it. I'm on the fence. So
I liked it. I thought it was really good.
You liked it?
Because it's okay. So basically, it wasn't a number one. I liked it because it wasn't a reboot. That's big in my book. Reboots are kind of like, iffy with me. Can I say that, or is that not hard to say?
You can say it.
Because God, who knows? So, yeah, reboots, like, when you reboot something, that it better be good. It better be like when they rebooted Ghostbusters, I don't care who was in this movie. Why would you reboot something that's, like, such a classic, iconic thing? It could use a continuation of and that's what they wound up doing after that reboot flopped, because it was just not good. And, it had nothing to do with who was cast. I don't care if it was all guys again. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with rebooting something that was already established, and you could just totally continue after that. Like I said, that's exactly what they did in the last movie.
Well, this was supposed to be a continuation.
Of what?
Of, like, the Evil Dead series in general.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's not a reboot.
Yeah, so for anyone who's never seen Evil Dead Rise before, it is not a reboot.
Nope.
When we looked it up, it's supposed to be like a continuation of the Evil Dead movies. It's just more evil stuff going on.
Right, but they never really explain. The one thing, and I'm assuming this is what's going on, that there's more than one Necronomicon, because this one didn't look anything like the one that was in the woods, in the initial Evil Dead.
Oh yeah. It actually, the Necronomicon looked different.
Yeah.
But it still looked creepy and cool.
Yeah, it was still made out of human flesh, but maybe there's multiples, and that's what I would have thought they would have been interesting to do, like an Indiana Jones ending, where you kind of do a pullback or some sort of thing where they show like really quick seconds around the world.
Didn't they hint towards that?
Yes, they did. I think
they did hint towards that. So maybe there are multiple Necronomicon in this, like.
in this Evil Dead world.
Yeah, because in this one it did look a little bit different, and where it was located was a different location altogether.
Yeah, it was in a city.
It was like in a city area.
It all took place in a tenement, like in an inner city tenement.
Yeah.
That was almost half empty because they're going to tear the building down.
So it was a really old, like, antique building, like an apartment building. Yeah.
There's like a handful of people that are holding out and they're not moving out.
Yeah, a handful of people left because the building was going to get tore down in, like, within the next month.
They were staying till
all
the last
other
second.
tenants left, and then you see, like, some people still there.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they didn't find a place to move to yet. Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any spoilers in this, but, if you haven't seen it, then, you want to go la 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 with your ears, plug your ears. But there's a lot of gore in this movie, and I thought it was done in the vein of Evil Dead. I liked what they did with this. The only thing I didn't like was some of the, the convenient things, because with and they did a lot of stuff that nobody would normally do. But I guess if they don't do that, then you don't have a movie, right? Like most of us, if we found a crypt somewhere underneath anywhere, we wouldn't just go walk into it and start digging in it. That would be weird. I mean, because nothing ever good comes of that, right?
Well, so if I am going into a creepy basement part of an apartment building, and it's a part of this building that I'm not really supposed to be in,
right?
And there's hundreds of rosaries hanging from the ceiling and a big cryptic looking coffin thing.
The other way.
I would go the other way. I would run out of there.
You don't go, ooh, look at this, and lift up lids and start digging.
In the movie, they're like, ooh, what's this? Yeah. And they're digging around. They're opening up the coffin. Like, what the hell are they doing?
Well, and the thing I was alluding to before about not liking some of the sort of the coincidences that didn't even they find records, like old phonograph records in this crypt that are still playable.
Yes.
Old 78s.
And they find the Necronomicon.
Well, that's
in this coffin.
That's fine because it's just a book, but they find records with recordings of different, I guess, sermons. Because in the Evil Dead movie, the original,
it was the tape.
But it was a guy researching it, so he was reading stuff, so that made sense, and they left the player in there. But in this movie, one of the kids that lived, one of the last people in this tenement was a kid that had all this DJ equipment. Conveniently, he has a record player, but he has all this stuff.
Well, it's
so of course they find records.
Records are still popular.
Yeah, but most people don't have phonographs or any kind of record player. But why couldn't he just have?
Well, they're also in an old apartment building, so maybe they could have found one even if he wasn't into DJ stuff.
That would have been more interesting to me because then it's not this whole setup in his room and he just happens to find our record. Why couldn't he find a reel-to-reel that he couldn't play it on? It was the convenient type of thing. It was a little bit too much. They could have done it a different way.
Like, it just so happens that he has this DJ stuff.
But that's what I'm saying.
In this rundown apartment, this kid has all this expensive DJ equipment.
It's not the rundown apartment as much as it is the specific equipment to find the specific media to play it on.
I hear you.
He didn't. It's not like he found cassette tapes and then didn't have a tape player. He had all the equipment to play. He was playing it backwards. Anyway, I'm not trying to pick the movie apart. I'm just saying how I felt about it. I'm like, that's a little too convenient. But anyway, overall, I thought it was good, especially since you knew, and there was some stuff I've never seen before in this movie. I don't want to give that part away, but towards the end, the thing that comes after everybody.
Yeah, that was out of, I don't even know where they came up with that idea. Really messed up towards the end.
It was great.
It was really cool.
So I was like, I've never seen that.
This movie did have some very predictable parts and some really obnoxious parts. But when the kid finds the Necronomicon, and I'm thinking, like, what the heck are you doing? Run away. But
I will say this: it didn't pull any punches.
No.
It totally delivers on the gore and on exactly.
It has some CGI and some practical effects, so it's like a blended.
And there's a lot of cringe moments, like ooh, oh, no.
Yeah. There were a couple of moments where I had to look away because I'm like, ooh, And
all I'll say without giving anything away, it's totally true to the franchise, to the actual first couple movies, especially the first movie. It's relentless, and I don't want to. I'll just say that without giving anything away.
It is relentless because you're like, holy crap, you like you're rooting for some of the family members to try to, and then all this other stuff happens and. It's like, do they ever get a break?
No.
No,
you're talking about disembodied spirits that you can't shoot them, stab them, anything.
I mean, they're just evil.
And what happens when you kill the body that they're in, they just become disembodied again and go after someone else. It's you can't beat these things.
So, and it sounds like it took, like, because they would play snippets from these old records that this kid found, and it was like these priests were trying to contain it, and it was like...
by trapping it.
Yeah, they were trying to trap it. So they had everything trapped, I guess, in that...
Right, and
in that sarcophagus or coffin or whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
But let's get into some comments here. David Phillips says, Evil Dead Rise will be in my top 10. My thoughts after seeing it in May, really fun and presents a really good continuation story with gore and good lines, respects to the original story too.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. It's all the other stuff
pretty
aside.
Good, but I think there were some things that I think they could have done better on.
But thank God it wasn't a reboot. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I like that it wasn't a reboot, that it was a continuation. Yeah. So technically, I mean, you can make tons of different versions of Evil Dead.
The Arctic, like with the igloo.
You know? Where, like, it just, you know...
I love that.
This evil is unleashed wherever, you know?
I just wish they would have done that at the end. Like, the way it ended was great. I know it was totally the Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
But I'll check it out again. Matter of fact, I'd like to see if they do say so, because we were kind of talking through the whole thing and making fun of it.
It was pretty cool though.
But we had a good time watching it. Yeah. We had some friends over, checked it out, had some food. It was good.
Yeah. So I'm happy
but we recommend it. Yes.
We do recommend Evil Dead Rise. Yeah.
And for a Halloween movie, definitely get it.
Oh, definitely for Halloween.
You'll love it. Turn the lights down. You'll love it.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yep.
Bone Jangler says, I'd really like to see The Nun 2.
I have not seen any of those movies.
Didn't we watch the first one?
Maybe
I thought we watched the first one and it was sort of okay.
Yeah, we need to get into it. We already have, we have a real nun story.
It had some cool, creepy parts.
But we have a real nun story.
Do we?
From the shop, the painting. How dare you?
That's right. What did we ever do? Did someone buy her?
We got rid of that thing.
We sold it.
So there was a fella. Where are those paintings?
We have a real ghost story, nun story for
Yes. So, I witnessed it. You were there. There were several people.
One of his paintings is over there.
Yeah.
But we have some fans that I think they were from...
Did he pass away, that guy, recently? Didn't that someone tell us? Was that a different paint? Oh, it's a bottle cap painter, right?
That's a different painter.
Okay.
So I don't remember their names right now, but some fans from Southern Ohio and Kentucky area, they worked with a gentleman who was a little bit older, and he was a dishwasher, and he also did paintings. And this is back when I had the shop in Lakewood, when I had a brick and mortar store. They would, this couple would stop in and visit the shop, and they would bring in this guy's paintings. And he just liked to paint. He would give paintings away. We offered to sell them and give him a cut of it.
He did a portrait of us.
He painted a portrait of us and some other characters, some scary movie characters, and it was cool. And he did it for fun. It was something.
We sold one or two of them at least, right? We sold.
Yeah, I think we sold a couple of them and gave a couple away.
Yeah.
But there was one that he painted, and we were told that
it was of the nun character.
It was of the nun character, and we were told that painting was cursed.
Right.
And it was the nun from the movie The Nun. And
it was,
a creepy nun painting.
I'm like, yeah, right.
And we're like, oh, it's cursed. Ah, ha, ha.
Yeah, a character, movie character.
It's cursed.
And the people were adamant. They were like, look, just take... We're like, okay, we'll take it. We're not afraid of this kind of stuff. They're like, thank you.
The guy who painted it said he was like in a bad mood, or he was having a bad day or something when he painted it.
Bad mojo.
And that's why he said the painting was cursed. Some bad vibes or something that day.
So we had it hung up in the gallery on this one wall in Janet's old shop. And we were standing around with several people that day talking at the counter.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this thing flies off the wall.
And none of the other stuff I had on the wall moved.
No.
It was not windy in the store at that time.
Nope. Literally.
But this painting just flew off. And went off and just went moving on its own.
We were all like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
And so one of us went up and hung it back up on the wall. And then a few minutes later, it flew off again.
Yes.
Swear to whatever you want to believe in. Swear on my mother's life. Mama Monkey's life.
It did this many times, and there were people in the store when it was happening.
And I'm the biggest, naysayer in the world when it comes to that. And I was like, okay,
yeah,
this is weird. I had to admit it. I was like, nope. We're gonna treat her, talk to her nice. Put her down, we left it alone.
I was like, okay, just chill, and we're talking to this painting like it's okay, it's all right, chill, and I put it back
because there are multiple paintings hanging up on this wall the same way. They're all mounted just on a hook.
Yeah,
You know, nothing's fancy.
No, and you know, sometimes stuff falls, but and sometimes
that thing flew off.
You know,
twice.
if it was a nice day, I'd have the shop door open. You know, and sometimes the wind would blow in, but it wasn't.
No, it could have been any of that, but I don't know.
No, because none of the other things fell.
The second time is what really freaked me out.
When it did it multiple times, and it would do the like. After a while, I stopped hanging it up. I think I had it setting on a shelf or leaning on something, because it didn't like to be on the wall for whatever reason.
It was weird, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not like really into that. I mean, I love that. I'm interested in understanding it, and wanting to believe that there's all this stuff. But yeah, that freaked me out.
Yeah. So I think I don't remember if we sold it to someone or gave it away to someone, but we did.
Who did we give it to?
We did tell them what happened.
Yep.
You know, we did tell them, like, yeah, we were told it was cursed and it has done some weird things.
We did our taxes one year. It was really weird.
So yeah, that's the haunted painting story.
The nun related thing.
The creepy
nun
painting.
We do have one of those DVDs. I think it's the one.
Yeah, we saw the first one. We haven't seen the second one. It had some good parts, but it was, again,
I can't remember it
with
that well.
some of the newer horror films, it's very predictable.
Jump scary too. I don't like
the jump scares because that's also very like, it's kind of forced.
It's a gimmick, and
yeah.
it's like,
It had some cool visuals. It had kind of some neat parts, but it was like, So maybe the second one will be better. I don't know.
I have to revisit it. That's been a while. But the nun's from the Insidious stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or
I think it was a
Paranormal
spin-off of Insidious.
I think it might be Insidious. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Those I never got into. I think I saw the first one.
I didn't see Insidious. But we saw the nun one. The
nun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And David Phillips says, please tell me where the painting is today. I don't remember.
I forget too, and I'm happy. I don't want to remember.
It was like 2019 we sold it or gave it away, and I don't remember like.
It was like not super.
Someone that was interested in
we just
paranormal stuff. Yeah.
Did we give it to Mr. Ink? Why do I think that? I don't know.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Mr.
Or a
Ink.
haunted house or something. We gave it away to.
Maybe someone that liked haunted houses.
Not liked haunted house, but
maybe they worked for
one of the.
Haunted House?
I forget who we gave it to. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
If you're out there and you remember anything about this,
if you guys remember, if you're watching our videos
and you have it,
and you have this painting,
let us know.
Remind us, because we don't want it remember.
back. Yeah.
You can keep it. We don't want the
yours.
painting back.
No. But yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, so there's so much horror stuff. I mean, and what else did we watch recently? Other horror related.
So we watched Evil Dead Rise.
Yep.
Tubi had Curse of the Mummies 2.
That was good.
From 1964, and it's a Hammer horror film. And it was one of those that we saw it a long time ago, but we didn't remember much of the movie.
This one,
so we watched it again because we're like, well, this looks good, and it'd be refreshing to see like a classic movie again.
But this one would come on, for me as a kid, would come on Channel 43 WAB, the same channel Superhost used to come on. Mm-hmm. This was something that I would see in the afternoon after his block of movies, like after 4 p.m., between 4 and 6 or 7. Channel 43 would show movies before they would show Star Trek and all this other stuff. But that would be like the 4 o'clock movie on a Saturday. That would be that. I've seen that many times.
Nice.
As a kid, yeah, I love that movie. And I'll never forget the part where he crushes that guy's head, where the guy that's like. Towards the end,
he's like praying to the mummy or something, or bowing down to him.
He feels like, look, I know that I am not worthy of you returning, and it's my and I can't look upon your greatness. So he basically just let the mummy crush his head.
The mummy stepped on his head.
Smush his head in front of a bunch of people.
In front of everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't kill a thing that's not dead. You can maybe burn it, which they don't do till later. But anyway, that was a good movie. There's no Peter Cushing or no Christopher Lee in this one.
No, but the actors, I think, still did a good job.
Great actors, yeah.
Really good, like, costuming and props. It was just really cool.
Yeah, I like
it. The mummy should have stayed in Egypt, obviously, but then you have that like kind of a carnival guy that wanted to take the mummy on tour throughout Europe and the UK, and the mummy would have none of it. He came back for vengeance.
Yeah.
So, moral of the story, be nice to the mummies, I guess.
Let sleeping mummies lie.
Sleeping mummies lie. You don't wake them up.
Even though we're going to go to a mummy exhibit next month.
That's true.
Well, We didn't do it, so.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
Don't come crushing my head at
We're
night.
just patrons. We're going to go look.
Yeah, leave me alone,
Yeah,
Mummy.
you're going to go just observe.
They'll hook you up with the nun.
We're not going to wake them up.
No.
We're going to let them sleep.
Let them lie in that case, in that hermetically sealed case.
So there's a ton of comments here.
Comment away. Let's talk about stuff. That's what we're here for. We're here for you.
Commenting on the painting, Ron says someone was unhappy. The afterlife wasn't what was promised, so he's thinking it was a ghost.
Who knows? There could be something to all that.
Jump scares is cheap, says Mo.
Oh, I hate it. That's too much. Oh, it's so boring.
The Conjuring is the spin-off of the Nun movies.
I haven't seen...
Or the first one. The Conjuring, and then they did the Nun
Conjuring,
after.
Insidious. There's all so many
Insidious,
things.
I think, is...
Paranormal Activity.
That's a different story.
It is. I don't
remember that one. I don't think I've seen that one yet.
I'm bad on those, so I don't know.
Juliet says, Hammer is great. Scares you in a harmless way. Hammer horror was the bomb.
Oh, Hammer Horror has all the thick red tempera paint blood and the.
Yes, they weren't that great with like special effects. It looked like it looked like red
theatrical,
paint.
but this was great. I loved it.
But the costumes were amazing. The actresses were beautiful. They always had some boobalicious ladies.
Oh, it's so great. Even when you didn't see the boob, there was all the cleavage in the world. And it was like for a young male, that's into that. It was definitely like something that you're like. Ooh, you perk up and you're watching the 4 o'clock movie on Saturday. What's going on?
And the dashing, guys in their suits everyone was dressed very proper and fancy. Yeah. I loved it.
There was a lot of style in those movies, to say the least. Yeah.
Bone Jangler says today is the 58th anniversary of the release of Frankenstein Meets a Space Monster, which I just love.
That is a weird movie. That is one. That if you have not seen this movie out there, it is a real movie called Frankenstein Meets a Space Monster. Although it's not what you think it is at all. The Frankenstein monster. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Hey, why not?
But it's an astronaut.
It's goofy. It's fun.
And he's all messed up. And then this space monster. Oh boy. It's like some Jules Verne nightmare thing. It's great. I mean, it's definitely it's you've never seen these things, but it's not the flat top Frankenstein or not like that monster. It's not that at all.
Yeah.
It's an astronaut that goes into space crash landing. He's all like part robotic now. It's strange.
It's a little different.
It's hard to describe. You gotta see it. Yeah. But it's very different.
I like that it's different.
Very early 60s, I think, or late 50s.
Let's see. Blood from the Mummy's Tomb is another great movie, says Albert. Juliet says, ever go to San Jose, California? The Winchester Mystery House is freaky.
Never been.
That is something on my mummy bucket list. I would love to visit.
Mummy bucket list.
Yes.
I love it.
I would love to one day visit the Winchester Mystery House.
That's a wacky tale. Tell that tale for people that might not know in a nutshell.
So, the Winchester Mystery House is actually a mansion that was built. Mrs. Winchester kept adding additions to the home. The Winchester family owned and made the Winchester rifles and stuff like that. And she felt...
Gunsmiths. Yeah.
Yes, and she felt terrible because she felt like the spirits of victims from violence were haunting her.
Could you imagine what she'd feel now?
Oh my gosh.
Or whoever.
So this is in the 1800s she was feeling this.
Well, there was a lot of shooting going on back then too, though.
And Wild West. Wild West.
Yeah.
And
because
she felt she was haunted by the spirits of these victims from gun violence, she would make additions in the home to try to escape the spirits. So like there were
or trick them, right?
Or to trick them. Yeah, to kind of try to have them leave her alone for a while. So there were staircases that would lead to nowhere. There were hidden rooms, little hidden passageways throughout the house, and tons of that is throughout this mansion.
Wow.
And it just sounds so cool. They've done TV specials about it, videos about it.
Is it haunted at all?
People say it's haunted big time. Yeah, people say it's definitely haunted. Huh. People have said to have seen and heard things. Others say it's hogwash and... it's a bunch of malarkey, but it's really interesting regardless of whether or not you believe in ghosts. Oh. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So
we'd like to go see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Lulu.
Jimmy K. I grew up with Son of Ghoul on Channel 1957. So if the horror movies don't have sound effects and voiceovers, I can't get into them. Ha ha.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, that's I grew up with the Ghoul, and obviously was like the precursor to the Son of Ghoul. He's the one who basically monikered Kevin to be the Son of Ghoul during a lookalike contest. But yeah, I grew up with watching the Ghoul doing the same thing with the sound effects, and a lot of horror hosts around the country have done that too, put the drops. And I think a lot of it started with Ghoulardi and back in the mid '60s.
It's Ed, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, it's like another way to watch a movie that. Because we do public domain movies. You've seen these movies over hundreds of times, but maybe if we spice them up a little bit with some sound effects and drop-ins, it might make it worth watching instead of waiting to the next live hosted segments and give you a reason to watch it. And I could easily cut these movies up and just show them, but I have fun doing all this too. So it's a labor of love, and if you enjoy it, and I noticed too when we show. Not independent movies, which I usually don't put sound effects in because it's I don't want to ruin the person's movie.
But the cheesy movies.
But the cheesy movies, if I don't do it, people complain. Where are the sound effects? So
yeah, people are so used to it. Yeah. Now when we host the independent films, we won't do the sound effects unless they give us the okay.
We've done it at least once.
We've done it with one indie movie. Which we might bring back sometime.
Be great.
And yeah, Bone Jangler says Big Chuck was the guy who did all the sound inserts. Yeah, he worked, for Ghoulardi.
With Ernie Anderson, and they came up with the idea to put sound effects in, put Ghoulardi, the horror host into the movie sometimes, and a lot of craziness like that. And and now we have what we have today with we try to incorporate a little bit of that, a little bit of other host sort of things into our show, and put our own spin on it. So
yeah. So okay, Gary Smith says Ghost Adventures visited the Winchester Mansion.
Aha.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on TV where someone did a TV special about it. I remember a friend told me about it once that they got to go see it, and it just sounded so cool.
What do you think a ghost is?
A ghost?
Yeah. What could it be? You think it's an actual...
Like the energy from someone's...
Who's trapped in this plane still?
Maybe.
Or, kind of like... just
Their energy is somehow trapped here, or wherever they resided.
Mm-hmm.
And they're confused. Maybe a spirit that's kind of stuck here.
Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe.
Nobody knows.
Don't know for sure.
But that's one of the
But it's fascinating,
theories.
right?
That's one of the theories, yeah. Or that it's just like this, it's not necessarily
it's like
the
that
spirit
person's
of somebody,
energy.
But the energy could be trapped in
maybe their energy is still like around.
Maybe there's this net that can trap certain sorts of intense energy. And it repeats it like a film loop, I've heard. That's how it's described, or they think that's one of the theories. And then the other interesting thing about the paranormal stuff is EVP, electronic voice phenomena.
Oh, that's really fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because listening to Art Bell growing up.
To hear those recordings is like...
Well, some of them are crystal clear, and I'm kind of like, it can't be that
It makes me wonder, are some of them, doctored? Were some of them altered in some way?
You would have to think. Because
yeah, you have to be a little skeptical with a lot of things.
If you didn't do it yourself and know the conditions, even though...
But it is interesting regardless.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Of whether or not you believe in it, I think it is kind of neat.
If you ever want a fun night of listening to something, and I'm sure you can just look this up on YouTube or someone's got this stuff posted, that you can listen to specific things.
Right.
Art Bell, Coast to Coast AM in the 90s and in the 2000s.
Yeah, you had some of those recorded, and I remember you put them on a CD for me.
They're great. It's Barbara Macbeth is one of the EVP people, but you got to find these ones. I forget the fellows. It's usually a guy and a girl that would do this, but Art would call it EVP shows. And it's amazing. They would go to graveyards, these 2 or 3 people, and they would just let analog tape recorders, and then they moved to digital later. But the idea is you just let these things run. You can talk, and you wouldn't hear anything until they play the tape back. Then they would hear some stuff on the tape. They would go, "Is anyone here?" And of course, they can't hear it. But when they listen back, it it'll say something like, "I'm so cold," And they would listen. It's fun to listen to the show. You got to listen to this on a dark, stormy night. It's really good stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's not real, it's done really well.
It's entertaining regardless.
It's so cool.
Mofei Chen says old building material can store energy and humans are bioelectrical.
Now that's another thing. You know what? That there is some actual scientific research about that.
There's a couple more comments.
Yeah.
Gary Smith, my hope is eventually to visit the prison in Mansfield where Shawshank Redemption was filmed.
That's supposed to be good too. That's close.
And then Juliet, a dead person who doesn't know they are dead or has unfinished business.
Yep. That's one of the other
She thinks
theories.
that's what a ghost does.
Could be. Could be.
Okay, now what were you going to say?
I lost track of explaining something about
their
EVPs.
energy. Yeah.
What Mo Fei Chen said. Yeah, that there's scientific. This fascinates me. Ghosts, it has nothing to do with ghosts even. It has
right.
to, but maybe ghosts aren't what we think they are. Maybe if things could like physical materials like solid stuff. There's, and I've heard this too on Art Bell and some other shows that some people are working on ways to retrieve sound waves that are stored within solid objects. Because it's a mind-blowing technology.
So sound waves can be stored
into something like a brick or a rock.
So there could still be like energy stored. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And it might, and so the sounds might just be that somehow escaping something solid and not necessarily coming from a spirit, but just sounds that are trapped in something solid. That I don't know what releases the sounds.
Weird.
But if it did sort of arbitrarily, maybe it's something to do with atmospherics. Who knows? I don't know. But that would be interesting.
A good comment. Marty says, if you guys were brave enough to journey through the House of Wills, then you can't be afraid to venture any haunted facility.
We're not. Yeah, House of Wills had a lot more going on.
The House of Wills was probably the creepiest place we've ever been in.
That was pretty intense, yeah.
That was the most intense.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. The House of Wills is and was a funeral home in Cleveland, Ohio that
it was owned
last time we heard the current owner was trying to make renovations to it.
I believe he still owns it.
So I believe it's still someone is still residing there, and they're trying to make renovations to it and make it a historic landmark.
Yeah, where the city I think wanted to tear it down.
Yeah, they were having some issues with the city.
But the reason why it's so predominant is because it was one of the I think it was the first African American owned business in Cleveland.
It opened in the 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're talking about something that was almost unheard of,
And it was a building that was also like the Wills family was part of the civil rights movement in the 1960s.
We saw that room.
We saw in the attic they had old posters for
picket signs.
Like picket, like for protests.
They were
and
amazing to see because it looked just like out of the photographs you see.
Yeah.
Of people, and it was like they were perfectly, drawn.
And they were just, right there, like
frozen in time.
Yeah, it was like a time capsule.
There were some photographs of people that were all messed up and kind of like, really old. It was really interesting. I think of the Wills family. But then there's the Egyptian room, too.
Well, everything was decorated.
There's that one room.
Because
with
there
the
was
sarcophaguses
Egyptian revival.
Yeah,
that was the style of decor for that one. It was like one of the parlor rooms.
Yeah, the showing room.
It was all done in Egyptian revival.
One of the viewing rooms. It was really, really
eerie. It was
eerie.
really cool.
Awesome.
But really eerie. Had a really eerie vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely oof.
But there's some other history with that building, too. That's very terrible.
A lot of weirdness with it. But it was... I don't know if I'd ever go back there again. But
we've been there, done that.
We went there once, and that was plenty.
It was amazing. Yeah,
that was
I have to
plenty
say that was pretty. That was right up there with the Franklin Castle.
Yeah, that
it might have been creepier than the Franklin Castle.
I think it was, honestly.
Yeah, because it's a funeral home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Lou. Louie's joining us right now.
Hey, Louie's here.
Nothing creepy about him. Hi, buddy.
Jack Gray says there was a study where they believe that pottery from 200 BC had sounds recorded on it because of the method the pottery was made with.
The grooves in it. Like a record. Yeah.
Wow, from 200 BC.
Yeah, records are a series of grooves. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not... I mean, we could figure that kind of stuff out.
That's cool.
Why could another human being figure it out?
That is really cool.
Yeah. It's not aliens. Different subject altogether.
Bone Jangler says, Nocturna and I drove by Franklin Castle on the way to hang out with the ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
were doing tours. They're still doing them, right?
As far as I know, they still do tours there. Now you could stay the night there.
Yeah.
You can book a room there.
The night.
It's lovely, like what they did do with.
Oh my gosh.
With renovating everything.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful home.
But to be actually step, because I've seen it for years from the outside and knew all about it.
To be able to actually go in and see it, because
thank you. That was a great birthday present for me this year. Yeah, it was awesome.
So
I'll never forget it.
We have not visited the Mansfield Reformatory yet,
which is in our back. It was very close to us, as opposed to the Winchester Cat.
I think the Reformatory would be more. We could probably do that in the near future.
Yes, we should. Yes.
So that'll be cool one day.
Yeah, I would love to visit that. Yeah, absolutely.
Wiki Bobby says Transylvania Dracula Castle is haunted. Well, maybe.
Well, a buddy of ours and his wife just kind of went there, didn't they?
Yeah. So we have some friends that are on vacation right now, and they're taking a tour of Dracula's castle.
Yeah, and Dracula, not the blood-sucking vampire guy, the guy that the myth is based on.
Vlad the Impaler.
Who impaled people, and look that one up if you don't know what that is.
He was evil for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He saw a lot of blood, that guy. But that was back then. I mean, there's a lot going on back then.
All right. So other things we are watching. So you did end up buying those movie packs.
Oh my gosh! Thank you, whoever was.
I think that was Seth Martin who suggested it.
You're my hero.
Seth's awesome because Seth also did the intro and outro for our show. He
amazing guy.
Did the graphics for the new introduction.
Yes, and I think
that turned out awesome.
And another one from Dead to West wrote us too and said that we'll like the one of those things, movie packs from.
Dead West did write to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said you'll love this stuff. Now we did. Yeah, we've got. So I wound up one night I bought 200 movies. 450 movie packs.
Yes.
And it was under $100 for everything.
And they're like these rare, hard to find, shot on video, indie movies.
There was one that cost me $70 for the 50 movie, and then the other one's like $12, $8.
Because the movies are just so obscure, and they do literally look like they were shot on someone's camcorder from the 90s.
Now, one we popped
shoestring budget.
The one we popped in, I forget the name of it, but it was all those. It was almost like Robot Chicken.
Oh, it was something like Haunted Museum or
The Haunted Museum. That's what it was called.
And I thought, this could be cool. It could be a ghost story movie. But it was really bad. It was like some animated movie where
it was somebody clacking dolls together.
It started out as animated. It had an animated
stop motion.
Like Flashimation.
Oh yeah.
It had some really bad intro, and then it went to It was like someone playing with Barbie dolls and doing voices.
Are you mixing that up with Creepshow 2 or 3? The animation.
Am I mixing those up?
You might be.
Oh.
Because
it all looked the same.
The Haunted Museum was just all that through the whole thing. It was all toys that someone was clacking together.
Oh, it was weird.
We'll get to Creepshow 3 later.
Yeah, Creepshow 3, we had to turn that off.
Yeah. It was hard. I mean, that was worse than the movies that we were watching on those.
Yeah, that was
a Tubi.
That was worse than I think the Barbie. The guy with the Barbie dolls.
Yeah, it was boring. It made no sense. Let's talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But so we just started scratching the surface of these DVDs. We watched maybe 3 of the movies out of the 200 we have.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies we're still sorting through, but
that's our winter.
We're happy.
Stash.
One of them is actually pretty good, and one of them...
The first one we threw in, matter of fact.
One of them we're going to be playing this October.
Yep.
Yes, and a famous B-movie actress is in it.
Yes, that's true, too.
Yeah, one of them will be showing this October.
Oh, the horror house.
Yeah.
That's good. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
So
Don't say it. Don't announce it yet.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to dive, and we'll make notes and so we can name the movies that we were watching to let you know about them. But some of them, there was some stuff, that's but only that's why I like these indie movies, because mainstream movies would never do this stuff.
No, because it's some stuff is creative, some of it's really out there.
A lot of it's just...
Some of it is really bad, but, we like wading through all this. We like looking through these movies.
For the gems, because there's going to be some good stuff.
There's probably going to be some hidden gems in there.
But you got to wade through it, to find it. But I don't know how to explain it other than it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about going on to Tubi and finding stuff to watch.
So Tubi has a ton of fun stuff. Whew. And so... I don't remember. I wish I wrote down the names of these movies.
Well, let's talk about Creepshow 3.
Okay, so we did watch Creepshow 3.
I didn't know
that.
there was a thing.
But
So
we didn't even watch all of it.
I said, how can you, it was made in 2006?
2006.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how could this go? I mean, now Creepshow 2 wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. It was the one with remember those guys break into the convenience store?
Yeah, Creepshow 2 was okay.
It's weird. It's a weird one.
It wasn't that
it's
great.
It's not as good as the first one.
It was just sort of okay.
First one's beautiful.
But then the first one is perfect.
It's like an EC comic that they base it on. Come to life.
I love the first Creepshow movie.
It's kind of like what they did with Sin City, how they just took the comic book.
It was taken from the comics.
Straight up. It was good.
It was very good.
Almost like Tales from the Crypt, the way they did that series. Was
Portal
beautiful.
says I liked both of the Creepshow movies.
Yeah, but
the
you haven't
first
seen
one
3
I
yet.
really liked. The second one was, okay.
It was,
but likable, but not as good in my opinion.
It didn't have the same feel.
And
as
then
the first
Creepshow 3 came out in 2006.
Holy mackerel.
It was done on a much smaller budget, and that doesn't. The stories
Budget has nothing to do with it.
That's true. I shouldn't have.
I know.
Because sometimes the budget movies are the best.
That ruins it usually because they just think that's all you need to do is.
Some of the stories didn't make sense. Some of the storylines are bad.
Like you said, it starts out with the worst Flash animation I've ever seen.
Really bad animation.
It's horrible. It's nothing like the Creepshow 1 where they do the regular flip animation.
It's like someone's 10-year-old brother made this on their computer.
A fetus did this.
And thought it was cool and
some zygote got a hold of a computer.
It reminded me of
it was bad.
Like Homestar Runner or something. It was really but not even as good as Homestar Runner. It was really.
This has the Creepshow name.
I'm like, that's Creepshow?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
They let it go. Obviously, they didn't know what was going to do anything with it. So it starts out with this weird opening, and then the first story was about this girl who she doesn't want to. She hates her neighborhood.
She's like this bratty teenage schoolgirl.
Yeah, high school.
Who's being bratty and snotty to everyone. And
her father gets a new remote control.
Her father gets a new universal remote control, and he's pressing the buttons, and then all this weird stuff happens.
Yeah, the family's changed, ethnicities. Okay, but I don't understand. But there was no reason why.
Well, and then she was turning into this weird mutated zombie thing.
But why?
But they never explained why or who was controlling the remote.
Because she was talking to her friend saying she wanted to leave. She hated her neighborhood. So the weird.
Well, I think they were setting up the story where she was supposed to be this bratty teenager that was kind of rude to everybody.
So there's a scientist that lives in the neighborhood, and he created this remote to hurt her. But what did she do to him? I think he wanted to
get because she was bad mouthing him. I think he wanted to get But I'm like, why are you doing this to a kid?
But I didn't even really pick up on that. So
I think that's what it was, but they didn't really explain it.
We weren't high. We're not. This I know it sounds like we're high. So because in the end she turns into a bunny rabbit and he takes her home.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's scary.
It was like a weird, it was.
So we go, maybe they got the crap in the beginning and maybe it gets better. So we let the second one play half, and that's when we turn it off. It was about a radio that can talk to you. Again, I didn't know what.
We turned it off halfway through that story because it seemed like it was really dragged out. Where he's talking to this lady through his radio.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was going anywhere.
And I'm like, okay.
So anyway,
all right. We just grew very weary of it.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, let's watch something else.
Any good movie, any genre, doesn't matter what the genre is. You got to be sucked in within the first 5 minutes. Most people and it's because you have a lot of choices now.
Yeah.
We can't stick with stuff.
No, Mofe Chen says the Creepshow series has some good episodes.
That's different.
I heard the series is good.
Did we watch some Creepshow? Is that the show that's illustrated by Kevin West? No.
Yeah, we did watch a couple episodes. So
that was different.
Yeah, that's way different. That's really good.
The Dollhouse one was great.
Yeah.
Those were great. And we're talking about this movie. You have to look at. You find it on Tubi. You'll see.
Yeah, look up Creepshow 3 on Tubi, and you're gonna hate it.
Don't hold it against us, but that's all on you if you look this thing
Skim
up.
through it, and you'll see.
Holy moly!
You'll see for yourself. Wow, the Mummy and the Monkey were right. This movie is bad.
I would say it's probably as bad as Yucca. It was just ugh.
It was totally Yucca.
The effects of the girl mutating were kind of neat. But
yeah, some of that was cool, but then I don't know why they were. I don't know.
You're sitting there. I don't know.
It was why is he doing this to this kid?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me. Okay, she's a bratty kid.
Yeah, so turn her into a rabbit? But that's not scary.
It wasn't really scary.
I don't know. I just.
It was like, I don't know.
They have a budget. They could have, writing.
But they didn't have a good writer, I think.
Anyway.
The writing was bad.
So
there's
that.
There's that, but we should probably get going soon.
That's what you always say.
It's getting late.
So what? Hang out. Come on, man. No, are we looking forward to watching anything other besides the 200 movies that we got?
We look forward to watching that.
Those things.
And maybe more stuff on Tubi. Maybe more Hammer films.
Of course, Hammer.
Because Hammer's classic, and it'd be great to revisit some more of those.
Those feel good, especially in October,
Yeah.
With some pumpkin spice something or another. Just chilling. That sounds like a good time. Carving pumpkins.
Yeah.
All of that. Now that's what we didn't do last year. We didn't watch the staples. We didn't watch Halloween 3. We didn't watch Trick or Treat for a few years now.
Well, we'll bring it back.
I do.
We'll
and
bring
I
it
want to watch
back.
Drag Me to Hell. I love that one.
And then Monsters Crash the Pajama Party.
We gotta watch that.
That is a tradition. I have to watch.
We didn't watch it last year.
Monsters Crash the Pajama. Well, we couldn't find the DVD.
We got.
I found it, and we're gonna watch it.
Locked in, loaded.
Yes.
We got that.
By Something Weird Video, they put out the DVD years ago. Monsters Crash the Pajama Party, and that's only a 30-minute movie. But then they also have the movie Tormented on there, and the menu screen has all these little hidden Easter eggs of
That's
haunted.
the best part of it.
That is the absolute best part. They have all these little Easter eggs of.
It's like a graveyard scene or haunted house.
Haunted house videos, old-timey videos, like drive-in stuff from the 60s.
The spook show stuff.
Old commercials for the spook shows and like the Laugh in the Dark and the haunted houses, all that stuff. It's just really cool.
Yeah, and like Janet said, the menu set up, it looks like a graveyard.
Yeah, it's like a graveyard, and then you have to click the little tombstones and click certain
owl
things.
Or a skeleton, yeah.
Yeah, and then like you don't remember which video is where, and you just kind of click around, and it's fun.
There is a map somebody put out on the internet.
They did make a map
of all the stuff. We might even not know of some of the stuff.
So we'll have to find that map.
Yes.
And look for all the videos.
Make sure we click all the stuff this time around. Yeah.
So there's hours of extra footage on Monsters Crash the Pajama Party.
That's the best part of it.
And that is just so fun. And I like there's the one that just plays all the haunted house ads. That's really fun to have in the background, like when you're carving pumpkins.
There's a weird movie on there. Remember that was
Tormented.
No, the Mummy movie. Remember that?
Oh, it was a music video.
Is that?
Yes, it's a music video by the Dead Elvi.
There's that one.
Yeah, it has a couple music videos.
What's
on
that
it.
one other weird movie on there? It's like a doctor.
It's a music video that they kind of turned into a mini movie. They took like someone's home movie or something, and they put it to that. It's not that one. I know what you're talking about. That really old with the guy with the top hat. Yeah.
Yeah, not that.
Huh.
There's another thing on there. I'm pretty sure it's on that. It's. I remember it's something to do with a doctor and a nurse, and they're doing something. It has something to do with the mummy. It's really weird. I
don't remember
this.
that, Grim.
Yeah.
And I've had that DVD forever.
I think it's Monsters Crash it's on. I'm pretty sure it is. There's a couple weird things.
I don't remember
But that Dead Elvi thing is really weird.
That's a fun music video.
How old's that footage that they use?
Oh, I don't know. Pretty old.
Because everyone has the old, hairdos, like the 1910s, yeah?
Maybe 1930s?
20s or 30s?
I don't know.
And they have a guy with a stovetop hat and a cape. He looks like Lon Chaney.
But the song is really good. It's like, they're playing some rockabilly songs, and it's by a band called the Dead Elvi.
And they use this old 1930s, home movie footage. Someone shot around, I guess, Halloween. That's really neat. But there's some weird
you can
stuff on
find that DVD pretty cheap, on eBay and stuff.
Yeah, it's called Monsters Crash the Pajama Party.
Yeah, I think I picked one up for $10 somewhere.
Yeah, they're not expensive.
Oh, there is, there is a video on there where it has 3D glasses, and you use the 3D glasses, and it's people dressed as monsters.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, it's some really low budget little mini movie.
We'll have to deep dive. There's
a lot on that disc.
Yes, it's more than even.
There's a lot there.
But it'll be a staple every Halloween. You'll watch this thing. Trust us.
Yeah, it's a tradition with me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you like chatting with us about ghosts and scary movies and everything else, click the like button. We do appreciate you. Share this with a friend. Tell a friend they can watch The Mummy and the Monkey too.
That's right. Anytime you want. Hey, if you didn't catch the live stuff, you can always watch the archive stuff. We have 213 shows, not archived, but a good chunk of them on YouTube.
Yeah, so good night, good fright, and thanks for watching.
Good night, good fright, goodbye.
Bye-bye.